Hello, my name is Jem, welcome back to my channel. I feel like these types of videos don't need an introduction at this point. Everybody and their grandmothers knows what a monthly wrap up. I just went on about how like everyone knows, but evidently I don't even know what video I'm filming. So yes, I'm coming at you with an April wrap up featuring 2 books that I read during March because I'm useless and I forgot to film them, so let's begin, shall we? The first book I read in March was The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I actually read this at the end of Feb and then into March. I really liked this. So this is a novel that centers around kind of a post-apocalyptic world. It's set in a small town, but the selling point, I guess, of this book, I really can't speak today. The selling point of this book is that the protagonists are not the heroes. So they're not the villains either though, they're just basically the sideline characters. The characters that are kind of in the way of the heroes or like are the background extras of a Marvel movie basically. But it follows our main character who I can't remember the name of, Mikey, and his group of friends as they just want to get through the end of their senior year and without dying, basically. This was really lovely. It was a terrific own voices novel. I really loved the magic system, even though it was slightly confusing. Basically in the town, you know, there's a new apocalypse every decade or so that everyone just kind of agrees to forget. But I really liked the magic system. I really liked Mikey's best friend, who I can't remember the name of. I read this book a while ago. Oh my god. Jared! I really liked Jared. I thought he was a really interesting character and yeah, I think I gave this 4 stars. I really liked it. To completely ruin every warm and fuzzy feeling I had regarding that book, I picked up Nutshell by Ian McEwan. I hate this book. Basically, everybody and their grandmothers raves about this book and about Ian McEwan, so I was like, cool, I'll pick it up. I bought it really recently. I was like, it's thin, it's literary, it's exactly what I'm in the mood for, let's give it a go. Basically, it follows an unnamed fetus, that's the narrator, and he is kind of in charge of delivering this story of betrayal and love gone haywire and murder. He's kind of privy to this really heinous plot by his mother and the lover his mother takes. Basically, I hated everything about this novel. Not only did it have a super weak plot and like nothing got resolved by the end, which I guess is like a metaphor for life, but like it was really badly like wound up toward the end. But the narrator was just awful. Like it was such, like the narrator was such a vacillator. Like just make up your mind. At one point they'd be like, I love my mum, Trudy's the best, and then be like, wait, my dad's dead. Oh yeah, sorry. The dad dies. Sorry if you wanted to read it, but I honestly wouldn't recommend it. I'm gonna leave a link to my Goodreads review. I wrote it pretty recently after I read this and I was looking at it the other day and just pissing myself laughing. I'm the funniest person I know. Needless to say, I gave it a 1 star. I really didn't like it. So I read that about halfway through March and it took me to the beginning of April to finally be ready to pick up another book because I was so scared that I was going to get another Nutshell basically. But I decided to pick up 3 Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. I bought this book is so dirty, I hate matte covers. I decided to pick this book up because Peruse Project raves about it and I agree it's a great book. However, this is kind of, I think, most people's like main problem and what stops it from being a 5 star for me. You have to wait until like 200 pages in. This is a 400-page book. You have to wait at least halfway to get to the action. The world is so intricate that Kendare Blake really takes her time developing the world. I will say the last 100 pages were incredible. They fly by so quickly that you almost want to forgive the first half, but I think I only gave this maybe a 3 or 4 stars. I'll rest on 3.5, but I gave it a lower star rating than the ending would allow me to rate it, because I don't know, it took so long, and I really don't like Mirabella, which is the elemental queen. I need to describe what this is about. Basically, it's set in this world where there are triplet girls born every so often, and at birth they get split up, they get sent to the poisoner community, in charge of poisoning, the naturalist community, which is kind of animals and trees and all of that stuff, and then one to the elemental community, which is like fire, air, water, earth. And basically when the girls turn 16, they battle to the death to become the next queen. Love the plot idea. I kept getting naturalist and elemental confused in my head. I don't know if that's just because I'm an idiot. I didn't like Mirabella. I thought she was a super annoying character. I really loved Catherine, and Arsinoe or Arsinoe, however you pronounce it. She was okay, but I didn't really like her. I didn't like Jude. I didn't like whatever Jude's boy's name is. What's his name? Is it Joseph? Joseph. I didn't like him. I loved the character, the priestess, the one that hangs around Mirabella, and I loved the world system. I thought the world system was really incredible, and the way that politics and, you know, just all of that good stuff was dealt. It was a really good book, but it just took so long, and it's one of those books where you have to read the second one because the first one didn't do any of the actual like big event. Like, I don't know, it was a weird one. I don't really know how I feel about it, but I liked it. Next up, I have a book that I was not anticipating on loving. I was so, like, I just picked it up with little expectation, but knowing that I probably wouldn't love it as much as the hype was like giving. Let me start again. I didn't think I would love it as much as the hype made me think I was supposed to. That didn't make sense. Basically, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. It's Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Holy shit, I was not expecting to love this book, but I truly do. It follows our main character, who I can't remember, Aza. It follows our main character, Aza, as she kind of grapples with her OCD and her paranoia, and it's just amazing. There's this plot where she's trying with her best friend Daisy to uncover this disappearance of a billionaire whose son Davis she falls in love with. It's such a beautiful novel. I love it so much. I love that the romance is very human-like, and the way Aza deals with her illness and the way different personalities are portrayed in the book. Like, not everybody, you know, this illness isn't romanticized by any degree, and it shows that her illness can deteriorate the relationships around her, and she feels like she's not really in control. And it was just such an incredible novel, and it was so impactful. And I actually got out my highlighter, and yes, my highlighter is brown, but I got out my highlighter in so many instances to highlight really amazing, like, and I kept thinking about how the sky is a singular noun as if it's one thing, but the sky isn't one thing, the sky is everything, and last night it was enough. And I'm like, it was such a lovely book. If you're like, I don't know about this, I don't really like John Green, because I don't like John Green's other works, like I really don't. I've read them all and they're not my faves, but this was so worth it and I couldn't recommend it enough. This was my first 5-star book of the year and I just fell in love with it. I was on such a like literary train that I was like, I'm gonna pick up another literary, even though Nutshell was just the biggest disappointment of life. So I picked up The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, and I was not disappointed. So this follows a collective narrative of 5 teenage boys, and basically they're coming to terms with the suicides, the collective suicides of these 5 Lisbon girls. And they're all sisters and they all committed suicide, and it kind of chronicles their life. And the main message of this book is that you can never know somebody, you just think you know them, or you know what you want to know or see what you want to see. It was really good. I gave it a 4 stars and I wish I could have given it a 5 stars, but there was this one little nagging thought. And basically, Eugenides paints the narrative as if it's currently happening, however the narrators are adults now. And the one thing that I just couldn't get out of my head was that sometimes the narrators, as they were adults, would sometimes say some really weird things about the Lisbon girls who committed suicide from the age of 13 to 16. Like, just some really weird statements, like oddly sexual, and I'm like, I get that they were in love with the Lisbon girls, but it's also been 30 years and now they're reflecting on teenage girls as adults, but as they would when they were teenagers, and it was just this niggly little thought in my head and I just didn't like it. However, I really, really loved the novel and I read this so quickly because it was so amazing, and yeah, I would really recommend this. And I really want to pick up the marriage blog, which is, I don't know if you can see it, it's here, but I really want to pick it up now because I really enjoyed the Virgin Suicides. And I just thought I would let you guys know what I'm currently reading. Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This is the IT book of the year. Everybody's talking about this. I borrowed this from my school library like 2 weeks ago and I'm only like just over halfway. I don't really like fantasy and I think that's why I'm really struggling with this, because I love the writing style. The pacing of this book is exceptional. But I don't know, I'm just really, really struggling, and I know, like, it's due tomorrow. It's due on the 30th of April, and I know I'm not going to get it done. So I'm kind of grappling with, should I return it? Should I extend my borrowing? I don't know. I don't know. I really want to love this, but I'm not in the fantasy genre. I don't know. So that wraps up my April wrap up / a little bit of March, featuring a bit of March. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but until next time, bye guys.